everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here back at Painted Studio. Let me tuck my jacket in underneath my apron before I do something stupid and get stuff covered. It's a little chilly here in the studio today, so I am wearing a jacket over a turtleneck and making sure it's warm. Now we got heat and stuff going, so it should be better in like an hour, but right now I'm a little chilly. I know, why am I giving you the weather report? Well, because it affects how things work. So this is one of these fun lessons I like to share. Cold weather makes things more challenging. Paint doesn't like cold. And I had some challenges this morning getting things ready for lives and things because it was chilly in here and my things did not want to set up properly. So I always say this, try to keep your workspace in the wintertime at 65 degrees, just because your products and your time won't be wasted. All right, so today we're gonna work on something that I picked up at Michael's the other day. I picked up these darling ceramic ornaments. Now you can see I've got the bottom half painted and we'll go from there. But they light up and I think they are awfully cute. And so I wanted to do something fun with them because I will give them as gifts over the holidays. So I thought, we were playing with Tamise yesterday and getting this gorgeous result happening. And I wanted to try that on a 3D surface because I don't usually use it for something like this. Now, once again, yesterday we used this. This is a blue-green variegated Tamise flake, and then we sealed it up with Whitson's Universal Lacquer for leaf, and you can see it just held that color beautifully. I did another one because I had done the foil adhesive before. I mean, not the foil adhesive, the gold leaf size before, while we were doing the live, so to show you how to apply that. I pulled it off after it was set up and I did this board. This is red variegated leaf. Now what I want to show you is this is the color of the red variegated leaf unsealed. Now if you saw yesterday, I warned you that the only thing that I don't find that the Whitson's works best on is red variegated leaf, and that's because of the copper content, and it will take those beautiful bright reds out of there. If you don't mind it, if you like this look or this is the look you're going for, that's fine. But if you look at this now, you can see it's much more orangey, and I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it side by side. It took all that red down. I have yet to find anything that doesn't take the red out of red variegated leaf. So pretty much you either resign yourself to having it turn an orangish shade, and other products will make it even worse. Other water-based and solvent-based products will kind of leach most of the color out and it'll just be sort of gold and orange, and that's it, no variation. So if you want that to stay that pinky color, pinky reddish color, you got to leave it unsealed. No wax, no solvent top coats, no water-based top coats, no shellac, none of that works. I promise you, I have tested everything I can get my hands on, and I have yet to find anything that does not change red variegated leaf. It is what it is. I'm just letting everybody know. All right, so we're gonna flip the camera down. We're gonna go on with our little project here. So these come painted in white fired ceramics, and you can do whatever you want with this. You can paint it there. It's unglazed, so it will accept all kinds of stuff on here. We're gonna use some plain gold Tamise flakes because I want it super reflective for the little light that's inside, because these all have little battery powered lights in there. So the first thing I do, you pick your undercolor. I do not apply the size directly on here. I want an undercolor, and I could have gone with black like I have before, but this time I chose to go with the gold just in case I miss any spots with the flakes. I still have a nice reflective undercolor. Now traditionally under gold, you would go with like a yellow ochre base color. I'm going, this is, I consider this almost like yellow ochre metallic. This is Roberson's liquid metal in classic gold. It brushes on beautifully. Now, a lot of things over a white base will show the white through. And that is true of this. The base is translucent. You get a more opaque coverage. If you do this over a black or gray, it's about how light reflects through things. And with a sheer base or a sheer base on the paint to allow the metallic particles to show, on top of white, the light will go through the gold and bounce back on the white, whereas if it's black under here, it will penetrate the gold and the light will be absorbed by black. That is just basic color theory and light theory. And I know more about that than I want to know, but it is what it is. So if you don't want to see, if you want your gold to be a little more solid than this, not streaky, choose a different undercolor for your base. You could even choose woody yellow set coat because it is very close to gold and it is very close to the ochre color that is used in gilding. For what I'm doing, base color. If it's a little streaky, it doesn't matter. And this is a gorgeous product. It's interior, exterior rated. We're gonna love how this comes in. And when you get these, there's a little piece of ribbon. I took all the ribbons off. All right, let me make sure I've got every bit of this covered. All right, here we go. Now, I did paint the feet prior to this for a reason, just so that we can discuss applying the gold leaf size. We are not using Artsyville foil adhesive. That is stickier and gooier than we need. We are going to use our Roberson's gold acrylic gold leaf size. This is probably the very best gold water-based gold leaf size I've ever used, and I have tried all of them. I've tried Duck's one to size, Rolco's water-based size. Anybody who's had a water-based size, I've had my hands on it for one reason or another. This gives me the closest to an oil-based finish as I can get. Now, again, I painted the feet ahead of time, so I'm going to brush this on, but I want to brush it thinly. It's a very thin, watery product, and you don't want to glob it on because you don't want dribbles, you don't want it to pool up, because then if you have spots where it pools up too much, once it sets up, it gives sort of a gummy spot where your leaf or your Tamise flakes adhere, but it's spongy and it doesn't grab right, so you can't polish it up and make it nice and shiny. You will be disappointed. So once you've applied it, come back and brush it back a couple times to get any dribbles or pooled spots off of it. So now we're going to set that to the side over there. And let me put that in the water. Also, like with Artsyville foil adhesive, put your brush in water ASAP, because if you don't, it starts to cake up on your brush. And make sure you swish your brush in the water, because even in the water, the acrylic glues will start to bind your bristles together. And I have found that if my bristles do get gummied up and I'm not happy with that, I can soak them overnight in, oh my God, it's over there. Holy crap, I can't remember the name of the stuff and I use it all the time. My brain has blanked. Give me a second to look at it. I'm going to be so annoyed that I can't remember this. There you go. I lost my mind for a minute. Soak it in Crud Cutter with the yellow label. Crud Cutter is fantastic. It's got detergent in it and it's also got solvent in it. You can put your brushes in it. I have never had one of my brushes come unglued because I've soaked it overnight in Crud Cutter. It's fantastic for dealing with uncured adhesives, and it's a great paint remover and everything. So I use it a great deal, and it's yet to disappoint me. Now this little guy, as you can see, he's got the snowflake on the front. You can see I have painted him, or it, and then I've applied my gold leaf size. So we're going to come in. Now I am bringing in some Tamise Flakes, and I will have small jars of it available for anybody who wants to experiment with that. I'm still trying to get larger boxes like you saw that I used yesterday. This is some of my bulk supply over here, so this is good. This is going to be a mess. And I think maybe I should be smart and take my jacket off even though I'm a little chilly, because, oh my God, it's going to stick to everything, and it's better if it just gets on my plain old cotton turtleneck than my wool jacket. All right, let's pull the sleeves up. So here we go with this. I could just take this thing and roll it in here, and that might be the better choice than what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it my way. So I'm going to take a little pinch out of the box and start patting it onto the surface. And again, once I've got the whole surface covered, whatever is not used, I brush off and I put back in the container. Okay, come on. And your application method is generous. Now, if any of this clogs up the little holes, take a safety pin or a picker or something else and pop those little holes clear. I blew it when I was applying this. I was blowing into these little holes that the light shines out of to make sure that the glue hadn't blocked the holes. But the flakes can block the holes in the process of application. So just be aware of that. It's not that big a deal. I mean, Lord knows I have had far more, ooh, I shouldn't laugh when I'm doing this, far more disastrous blockages happen in my painting career than having to clear a couple tiny holes with some pins. Just putting it out there, though, that that's what you want to do. All right. Let's get that on there. Oh, it's going on beautifully. This is going to be so pretty. I'm also rolling the bottom of this in it because I do have adhesive all over this whole thing, except for where the switch is, so it doesn't gunk up the electronics. And these little lights in here are battery operated, and you can unscrew. You actually open up with a little tiny screw on there, and I always have like an eyeglass screwdriver, and you can replace the batteries in them. Now, if the light bulb burns out, I can't tell you how to replace that. Maybe pop it out and shove a tea light in there, you know, one of the battery operated tea lights, or some of those little wired lights. Of course, then you have to deal with the battery pack too, but that's another story, and that's not my job. All right, let's get all of this on here. All right, we've got a whole nother spot back here to get at. Let's get all the way down to the bottom here. So the point is to get as much flake on here as possible. Take your hands, give it a little squeeze, just so it's all nice and adhered. Okay, now it's all well stuck on there. And you might feel a little stickiness. That's not surprising because this is still like foils, it's an imperfect release. And you will have to brush this and seal this. So I can set this, push that to the side. Take a little bit of my hand to get some back in that box. Yes, I have huge boxes of this too. So that's how we're gonna get some of the smaller jars available. And then I'm looking at the trying to get some of the bigger jars. Okay, so I have another brush. Like you saw me working with yesterday, first thing I'm going to do is brush gently just to remove any of the regular little bits that are loose. All of that. Now, if you look at that, there's a little tab in here. If you've never gotten one of these before, this tab, you pull that out and that allows the connection for the light. I will probably in a minute, once I've gotten this all cleared off, come back and turn the lights down so you can see how it glows. Or I will do another separate little short video when I get these both done so you can see how it glows. So I'm coming in here and I'm burnishing this. Now this is going to take it a little differently than that wooden piece of board because that was very, very smooth. This is a little coarser with that unsealed ceramic under here, so it may take it just a little differently. Now I can see a spot down on the bottom that I'm going to have to touch up a little bit. That never surprises me either, quite frankly. I'm always having to touch up stuff like that. So if I'm not getting this off with the way I want with this brush, I may choose a stiffer brush. So let's see what I've got over here. That's not what I want. This is what I want. So this is a nylon brush as opposed to a Taklon, and so nylon's just a little stiffer, and it just happens to need that. Now these are not the skewing brushes that I use for my regular gilding. Those are gentler because the application is gentler. This is a little messier and a little tougher, so I can be a little more aggressive with it. This is getting all those high spots off, and then I'll come back in with my rag and that will burnish a lot. Now, unlike the other Tamise Flakes that I was using the other day, they were a little thinner than these gold ones. The gold ones that I've got right here are a little bit heavier, and so they don't break off quite as easily as the other ones did. So let me come in here. Okay, I have gotten all of that off of there, and now I'm going to grab my rag and I'm going to come in and polish it down. And this breaks everything off much, much more finely. So you can see it's got kind of a texture to it, which is what the Tamise Flakes do, but it's still got that beautiful golden sheen to it that is so indicative of leafing. And once I've sealed this, if I wanted to, I could paint more detail on here. I could do any kind of stuff I wanted. I just want to get this sealed first. I want to use my Whitson's Universal Lacquer for leaf because that will keep this from tarnishing. Because this is composition gold. Composition gold does tarnish. It's not pure gold, and you have metals that are in here like coppers and brass and things like that that cause these kind of leaves to tarnish. So you want to come in and you want to absolutely seal this up so that you have this beautiful sheen preserved forever. All right, let me come back in. again, this is a little heavier than the one I worked with yesterday, so it just takes a little more work to get it polished up the way I want it. Now look at how beautiful that is. I think that's so pretty. And let me turn the lights down a little. It's going to suddenly start getting dark in here. Let me turn out this one so I only have one. And let's see if this will show up on camera. Otherwise, I'll turn out the other light. And you might be able to see it, but there's still a lot of light shining. So here, we're going to turn it all the way out. Look at how that glows through there. Isn't that pretty? I didn't even know the light was blue until I turned it on. Look how pretty that is. Oh, that's so nice. I'm looking at it. I still need to go in there with a pin or two and clear out a few of those holes, but look how pretty that is. All right, we're going to turn that back off. I'm going to turn some lights back on. All right, get all the working lights back. But that is so, so pretty. So I'm going to take this little tab, put it back in there, because that will keep the connection from accidentally being made while it's in transit as a gift. And let's get my Whitson's Universal Lacquer for Leaf. Now this is a top coat specifically designed for tarnishable metals. Let's see if I can get it open. I swore I loosened it before I opened, or before I went on. And as you can see, I seal everything with a little press and seal just because it helps. I'm so bad with my jars of stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I'm constantly doing stuff I'm not supposed to be doing, including dipping out of the jar. It makes a mess. And then I have to clean it up. So before I do this, I'm going to come in here with a little scissor. I could come in with one of my little pickers or a safety pin. I want to go in and get, by the way, these little sharp scissors, I picked them up at Michael's. They're like $1 a pair. They're a great little cheapy thing to have because I always need something little, something sharp, and something pointed. So I kind of use it for a lot of things. And if I ruin them, I don't feel guilty because they weren't expensive. Just want to go in here and get all that extra leaf out. I told you I was going to see this. Once I lit it up, I would know exactly where I needed to go in and clear out the holes, and I was right. Happens. Most of them are fine, but there's also a bunch that really need some attention. I know it's not even Halloween yet, but you know how those of us who are creative are. We have to start our holiday stuff early. Next week I'm working on the nutcrackers that I need to do for my niece and nephew. My mother started the tradition of giving all the grandchildren nutcrackers for Christmas every year, and when my mother passed on, I carried on the tradition. And for years I bought them, and I don't know why it took me so long to say, duh, you should make them yourself. So now for the last 4 or 5 years, I have been getting blank, unpainted nutcrackers and doing them myself. And since I'm in a gilding mood, I will probably be gilding at least part of them. So that'll go on here and in the video studio, and you'll see that process happening. Okay, so I've got that all cleared out. We're going to take our Whitson's Universal Lacquer for Leaf, and before I paint this part, I'm going to get all around it. Now it will make this look dull initially because it's a water-based product and it's got a little whitish in it. As you can see from the jar, it looks whitish. Once it sets up, it turns clear and it dries to a beautiful glossy finish. And this can be used if you have gold leaf that's over another surface and it's just a little gold leaf and the whole thing needs to be sealed, you can do that. Now normally we tell you to degrease, but because of the way this Tamise has been treated, I don't degrease this. I don't wet it down and wash it. Regular leaf, absolutely. And the reason you degrease it is because in manufacturing, all the tooling, the handling, the resin sheets that the leaf is applied between, or the rolls that it's mounted on, all get a little oily. And if you don't clean that, you can have, this top coat is so sensitive to some of that sort of thing, it will sis apart. And sissing means that it's not sticking to the surface. However, with Tamise flakes, it sticks perfectly without any cleaning. And a lot of things, it works very well. And if you've got some decoupage and some gold leaf, you can apply this over the entire surface because it is water-based. If you want to then apply a harder top coat, for whatever reason you need something else over this to seal it, because this does dry once it's cured quite hard. But if you need something else, either a weather protective sealant or something a little heavier, you could even pour resin over it. It takes all of that because, again, it's water-based. So you'll love this. I'm very, very pleased with this. Very, very impressed. And I'm not going to get the bottom of this all the way down because it'll stick to the paper and might tear off. And I do have a couple little touch-up spots on the bottom that I want to do too. So I'm just kind of going over where it doesn't need. And the touch-up spots are literally because I did all the adhesive on the bottom and then set it down on the paper to dry, and it stuck to the paper and not to the surface. That's on me. That's my sloppiness that caused that. Nothing else. So let's come in here and apply this over here. There's a reason I saved this for last, is because I'm going to blow into all these little holes where any of this wants to build up. I'm going to blow leaf all over the place as I do it. I know you're all used to seeing me work with gold leaf in the squares or with foil, but Tamise is one of my favorite easy to use products that give you a wonderful textured gold effect on here. So I'm going to again hold this up nice and close so you can see that gives this wonderful sort of granite-y gold texture. Isn't that beautiful? All right, everybody, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to deal with my other guy, and then I'm going to go clean the mess I made. So I flip this up for a second. I hope you've enjoyed this. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, hey there, nice to see you. You probably came in earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't say hello. I was probably looking at what I was doing for a change. Sea Emporium is a wonderful artist from Cape Cod. I got the chance to meet her this summer when I was there on vacation. We went to the local lavender farm. Very talented. If you're not following her, give her a follow because she is fantastic. All right, so I'm going to clean up my mess here. I'm going to put my gold leaf size on my Santa in a few minutes. I'm going to finish my gilding and my top coating, and I will see you tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow is live. We're going to be making gorgeous ornaments like this. Look at how beautiful. And this is with pigments and a glass product, and we're going to have some fun with this. All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Let me put that back down so I don't drop it and break it. All right, everybody, have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.